Imagine you've worked honestly for 10 years, dedicated 10 hours a day to your company, disciplinedly saving every spare penny, only to wake up one day and realize your savings have been wiped out and debts and habits have eaten away your future faster than you could build it. You're investing your most precious asset, your time, and the system is making sure your money barely grows. You played by the rules imposed on you, but in the end, you're left with nothing. Why? Because you didn't know the minimalist rules of financial survival. Most people think wealth is all about complex Excel spreadsheets, knowledge of stock prices, and an economics education. But the reality is far harsher. The more complex your financial system, the easier it is to collapse under the weight of a crisis or your own emotions. The modern world is a machine for converting your ambitions into someone else's profit. You're forced to buy things you don't need with money you don't have, to impress people you don't even know. It's financial slavery in a pretty, glossy wrapper. Today, I'll give you a strict set of rules. These aren't just tips, they're armor. If you break even one, your budget will start bleeding. If you implement them all, you'll become financially invulnerable. We'll explore the psychology of spending, the hidden mechanisms of banks, and those simple habits that separate the perpetually anxious debtor from the person who can afford to ignore price tags. Rule 1, the 24-hour emotion filter. Imagine this. You're scrolling through your social media feed or walking through a shopping mall. Your eye catches a new gadget, a stylish pair of sneakers, or some incredibly useful household item. At that moment, a chemical reaction occurs in your brain. Dopamine rushes through your head. You're already imagining how this thing will change your life, how you'll become more successful or happier. You press the pay button or swipe your card. At that moment, you feel triumphant. But here's a shocking statistic. 80% of impulse purchases lose their value within 48 hours. The joy fades, dopamine drops, and your account balance plummets. You've traded real hours of your life spent at work for a brief moment in your mind. You've literally wasted your time on a piece of plastic or fabric that will be gathering dust on a shelf in a week. The minimalist solution is a strict 24-hour rule. Any purchase that costs more than 5% of your monthly income must sleep in your cart overnight. You must close the browser tab or leave the store. Let your emotions cool down. If after 24 hours the desire to buy hasn't turned into a conscious, logical need, you've just saved yourself years of freedom. Money isn't paper, it's your time. Divide your salary by the number of hours you work per month. Get your hour. Now look at that new smartphone. It's worth 200 hours of your life. Is it really worth spending a month at the office just for it? When you start measuring purchases in hours of your life, not rubles, your world will change. Rule 2. The invisible money principle. Do you believe in your willpower? In vain. In the battle between, I want this delicious coffee right now, and I need to save for retirement in 20 years, willpower loses 9 times out of 10. The human brain is not evolutionarily designed to plan decades ahead. It wants pleasure here and now. Have you noticed a strange pattern? No matter how much you earn, 30,000, 100,000, or 300,000, by the end of the month, your account often ends up near zero. It's called Parkinson's law. Expenses always rise along with income. As soon as you start earning more, your minimum comfort level magically rises. You buy more expensive groceries, choose taxis over the metro, subscribe to unnecessary services. Ultimately, you remain just as poor. It's just that the decorations of your poverty have become a little more expensive. How to overcome this? Make your savings invisible. This is the main rule of financial minimalism. Your financial system should run on autopilot, requiring no input from you. Set up automatic payday transfers in your banking app. At least 10%, and preferably 20%, should instantly go into a separate savings or investment account that you don't have a quick card linked to. The point is, you shouldn't decide to put money aside at the end of the month from what's left. There's never anything left at the end of the month. You should pay yourself first. If you don't see this money in your main account, you psychologically adjust to the balance and live on it. Surprisingly, you won't feel a difference in your quality of life if you start spending 10% less. But after a year, you'll find an amount in the account that will become your safety net. This money will buy you a good night's sleep. Rule 3. Financial audit and death of 1,000 cuts. We live in the age of microtransactions. Companies no longer want you to buy their product once. They want to hook you on a subscription. 500 rubles for an online movie theater. 300 for expanded cloud storage. 1,000 for music, another 2,000 for a gym you only went to once in 6 months. It seems like a small thing. What's 300 rubles, you think? But this is a death by 1,000 cuts strategy. When you have dozens of these small write-offs, your budget slowly bleeds dry. You don't even notice where the money is going until you look at your statement for the year. Imagine a small hole in your pocket, from which 100 rubles fall out every day. Doesn't seem like a big deal? But over the course of a year, that's 36,500 rubles. Over 10 years, that's almost 500,000, including lost investment profits. Minimalism in money means purity. Every 3 months, you must perform a financial disinfection. Open your transaction history and list all recurring payments. Ask yourself one question. Has this subscription brought me joy or benefit in the last 30 days? If you can't remember the last time you opened this app, delete it without mercy. Clear your space. The fewer bank cards and accounts you have, the clearer your financial picture will be. Financial noise creates the illusion of a lot of money, when in reality, it's simply spread thinly across various pockets, where corporations are quietly stealing it. Rule 4. Luxury tax yourself. Let's be honest, we're not robots. We want to indulge ourselves with purchases, and there's nothing wrong with that. The danger isn't the purchases themselves, but rather that we don't understand their true cost. The system is designed to make you consider liabilities, things that drain your money, as assets. You're told, buy a car on credit, it's your status and comfort. In reality, it's a vacuum cleaner that sucks up your money for insurance, gas, repairs, and taxes. Introduce an internal tax rule. If you want to buy something that's not essential, a new iPhone, an expensive watch, a game console, designer clothing, you're obligated to pay the same amount into your freedom fund. Want sneakers for 15,000? Go ahead, but only if you have 30,000. And you immediately deposit the other 15,000 into a non-withdrawable deposit. This rule is the perfect lie detector for yourself. If you can't afford to save the same amount, then you really can't afford the purchase. You're trying to overreach yourself. This tax instantly sobers you up. It forces you to consider, is this thing really so cool that you're willing to pay double the price for it? Rule 5. The fuck you money concept, freedom capital. This is perhaps the most important rule of financial minimalism. Imagine that tomorrow your boss decides you have to work weekends without pay, or the company where you work suddenly closes, or you simply become unbearably sick of what you do. Most people in this situation would swallow their resentment and continue working because they are slaves to their bills. They need to pay the mortgage, the car loan, and the subscriptions we discussed above. Your first priority, more important than any investment in stocks or crypto, should be freedom capital. This is an amount that covers your basic expenses, food, housing, hygiene, for 6 to 12 months. Why is this minimalism? Because having this safety net allows you to cut out everything unnecessary in life. When you have a year's worth of savings, your psychological state changes. You stop being afraid. You start saying no to toxic projects, poor conditions, and people who don't respect you. This money doesn't just sit there as dead weight. It buys you the right to choose. This is the most valuable thing money can buy, your autonomy. Until you have this fund, you're at risk. Any car breakdown or dental problem turns into a financial disaster. Start building this foundation today, even if you can only put aside 500 rubles a week. The key is unwavering discipline. Now that we've built your armor and protected your rear, it's time to talk about how your money should take over the world. If the first part was about how to avoid being ripped off by marketers, the second is about making your capital work for you when the system is stacked against you. Imagine your savings as an army. If they're simply sitting under your mattress, they'll desert under the blows of inflation. If they go into battle without a plan, they'll perish in the first ambush. Your job is to become an effective commander-in-chief. Rule 6. Invest in yourself faster than in the market. Many people make a fatal mistake at the start. They try to squeeze out extra interest on their deposits or study stock charts with just 50,000 rubles. Imagine, you're wasting hundreds of hours trying to earn an extra 3,000 rubles in profit from a small deposit. At that moment, you're committing the most ineffective action of your life. The minimalist approach states that as long as your capital doesn't exceed your annual income, your best investment is yourself. Your ability to earn is your main money-making machine. If you spend the same 100 hours not on studying cryptocurrency quotes, But on mastering a new skill, learning a foreign language, or acquiring professional equipment, your income could increase by 50 or 100%. An investment in your brain is not subject to inflation, it can't be taken away, and it yields the highest dividends. Don't try to beat the market until you've learned to sell your time at a high price. When your hour is valuable, the magic of compound interest begins to work at a completely different speed. Rule 7. The law of anti-inflation happiness. This is the most dangerous enemy of your wealth. Imagine you got a promotion. You used to earn 50,000 and now you earn 100. Your first instinct is, now I can afford it. You move into a bigger apartment, start dining out, buy more expensive clothes. At this point, you find yourself in a gilded cage. Your expenses grow in line with your income, and your distance from financial freedom remains the same. You're running on a treadmill. The speed increases, you sweat more, but you stay in the same place. Minimalism requires conscious asceticism during the growth phase. Make a rule. With every increase in income, you maintain your expenses at the same level for at least 6 to 12 months. Use any surplus to buy back your freedom. Investing. If you can maintain the habits of someone with an income of 50,000 when you hit 200,000, you'll become obscenely rich. Happiness isn't in consuming new things, but in the realization that you no longer need to sell every hour of your life for food. Learn to celebrate victories modestly. Your goal is not to appear rich, but to be rich. Rule 8. Debt is a tax on unpayment. Every time you take out a consumer loan or use a credit card to buy something you haven't earned, you commit an act of aggression against your future self. You're literally stealing your tomorrow to satisfy a momentary whim today. A bank isn't a benevolent helper. It's a mechanism for extracting your time. You're not just paying interest, you're giving the bank the power to control your life. If you can't save up for something, you have no right to own it. It's harsh, but it's the only path to independence. A business loan that generates income above the interest is a tool. A loan for a new smartphone or a vacation is an admission of financial helplessness. The only exception to this system is a mortgage. And even then, only if the monthly payment doesn't exceed 30% of your net income. Everything else is self-imposed shackles. Pay off all your debts as quickly as possible. It's the most profitable investment you can make right now because you're guaranteed to stop losing money on interest. Rule 9. Reject complexity. Occam's razor for money. The financial industry thrives on complexity. You'll be offered structured notes, complex investment insurance, exotic tokens, and leveraged strategies. Remember, complexity is created to hide fees and confuse you. The more complex the financial product, the more profitable it is for those selling it, and the more dangerous it is for you. Your investing rules should be as simple as a brick. Buy assets you understand. If you can't explain to a 5-year-old how an investment makes money, don't touch it. A minimalist portfolio is index funds, gold, and a small amount of cash. That's it. You don't need to be a trading genius. You need to be a disciplined robot. Complexity is the enemy of returns. History shows that simple passive strategies beat 95% of professional managers over the long term. Don't try to outsmart the market, just own the market. Rule 10. Discipline is more important than intelligence. The financial markets are full of smart Alecs with degrees from top universities who lose everything because they succumb to panic or greed. Your intellect can become your enemy when you start constructing complex theories about why, this time, things will be different. Minimalism in investing is boring. The hardest thing is doing nothing when everyone around you is shouting about a crash or a new, unique opportunity to get rich in a week. Your plan must be rock solid. Every month, no matter the market conditions, you buy your assets. If the market falls, you're happy because you're buying cheaper. If the market rises, you're happy because your capital's growing. Your emotional stability is your most valuable asset. If you can't watch your account drop by 30% without wanting to sell everything, you shouldn't be investing. Work on your nerves first, then your portfolio. Rule 11. Environment and financial hygiene. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your friends are used to spending every penny, living on credit, and constantly discussing their new purchases, it will be practically impossible for you to adhere to the rules of minimalism. We are social creatures, and our subconscious always strives to imitate the behavior of the pack. Minimalism in relationships doesn't mean abandoning all your friends, but it does mean consciously choosing those whose values align with your goals. Find people who discuss ideas, assets, and long-term development. Not new car models or discounts at the mall. Your circle of friends should lift you up toward freedom, not tie you down with the weight of shared debt and mindless consumption. Rule 12. Money as a tool, not a goal. The final and most profound rule. Financial minimalism isn't about greed or hoarding for the sake of numbers in an app. Money is simply a tool for buying your most precious resource, time. If you work yourself to the bone, ruin your health, and miss out on your family just to keep your account growing, you've lost. You've traded your life for paper. The goal of financial minimalism is to reach a state where you don't have to work, but you continue to do so because the project interests you. When money ceases to be a source of stress and becomes an invisible support, you begin to truly live. You begin to create, build, and benefit the world not out of need, but out of abundance. Conclusion. Your next step. Now you have the complete map. These 12 rules seem simple, but following them requires courage and iron discipline. The world will provoke you at every turn. Advertising will attack your weaknesses, banks will send personalized offers, and a voice inside will whisper, "We only live once. Treat yourself." But remember, either you control your money or the lack of it will control you until your last breath. You've gained knowledge that can make you financially free in a few years if you start right now. Not tomorrow, not Monday. Right now, open your card statement and delete one subscription you don't use. Then set up an automatic payment to a separate account for an amount you won't even notice, even if it's just 1,000 rubles. You've just liberated yourself. You've stopped being a victim of the system and become its master. Your future is shaped by your actions today. Now you know what to do. Go and build your freedom. Your time has come.